everybody. Once again, today we're going to look at SD 44.12. Mahā Gosinga Sutta. You remember that the last lesson was Chula Gosiṅga Sutta, right? So this is the greater discourse. The greater Gosiṅga Discourse, or the greater discourse in the Gosiṅga forest. N32. So Gosiṅga is the name of the forest. Go means a cow or cattle. Siṅga means, this one is, notice how it is spelled S-I-N-G-A, siṅga. It means the horn, cow horn. So if you translate to English, cow horn forest. But in the suttas, normally such names we keep to the original Pali. So Gosiṅga forest is easier to identify this forest. Because if we use translation, sometimes we get different translations. It may take some time for us to actually identify the place that we're talking about. So this sutta is named after a place. We have suttas named after places, named after events. Here's name after a place. The theme here is the saints' comments on the ideal monastic. Right? So here we have this group of great saints. Each of them have their what's called foremost quality, agga. They are special in certain ways. And they would present this kind of definition of a monastic, or this the kind of person they feel is the one they like to train. So the question they ask themselves is, who would brighten up this forest? Because it's a beautiful full moon night. And who will beautify this forest? The Pali word is sobeti. Sobeti can be brighten up, also can be beautiful or beautify. So this is a reflection on the siṅga, in other words, on the different kinds of great saints. So this is where we can have a good idea that the early monks, the arahats, they were not like a monolithic kind of monochrome, all identical beings like robots. No? Although they are saints and they dress alike, they even may look alike, same hairstyle, but the great saints were very different from each other. They were great individuals with special abilities. Of course, they all can teach the Dharma, but they have different styles of teaching, they have different abilities. So today we have a chance to see what are the abilities of some of these great monks, some of these early monks. And most of these monks are part of what are called the 80 great elders. The 80 great elders are listed in the Theravada commentary, and they give us an idea of the 80 topmost monks, if you like. Right at the top, for example, would be Sāriputta and Moggallāna. Okay? So now you have to imagine the scenario of the sutta. Okay? It's a full moon night. Now the full moon in Singapore doesn't mean much to us because we are so used to 24-hour lighting, so we don't really celebrate the moonlight. Let me imagine a situation 2,500 years ago, no electricity, no artificial light. Daylight is bright. Night, you have oil lamps, maybe a big, a bonfire maybe, or maybe a firebrand. All right? In the palace you have lots of candles maybe. But even then, it's not as bright as today. So if it's a full moon night, you find the kings and the monks and a lot of people will be coming out to the open. The teachers, the religious teachers will be having their gatherings. People are free and it's so, the moonlight, the moonlit scenery is so beautiful. very bright. It's really bright, and sometimes the moon can be so bright it's almost like daytime. You don't see this unless you go to the villages. So imagine the Buddha would be giving a talk to the monks, and here we have these monks gathered together on their own. The Buddha was not with them at first, so they were talking among themselves. Sāriputta, Moggallāna, and the other monks, they were great saints enjoying the beautiful brightness of the forest. So the scene opens like that. Yeah? So let's look at the sutta now. So it's on page. My page is 134. What is your page? 133. Yeah? Why sometimes the paging varies? Because I keep updating. I do some corrections before studying. Yeah? All right. The Greater Gosiṅga Discourse M32. Thus have I heard. At one time, the Blessed One was residing in the Gosiṅga Sal forest grove with a great many very well-known elder disciples, such as the Venerable Sāriputta, the Venerable Mahā Moggallāna, the Venerable Mahā Kassapa, the Venerable Anuruddha, the Venerable Revata, the Venerable Ānanda, and other very well-known elder disciples. Okay, all these monks are arahats except one, right? It is Ānanda. It's only a stream winner. Then in the evening, the Venerable Mahā Moggallāna emerged from his solitary retreat, approached the Venerable Mahā Kassapa, and said to him, "Come, Avuso Kassapa, let us go to the Venerable Sāriputta and listen to the Dharma." Right? So Sāriputta is like the Buddha's right-hand man, so he'll be giving a talk. It's a full moon night. Then the Venerable Mahā Moggallāna and the Venerable Mahā Kassapa and the Venerable Anuruddha approached the Venerable Sāriputta to listen to the Dharma. Okay? So you can see this kind of movement in the siṅga, these great monks. They're going to listen to another great monk giving a Dharma talk. Then the Venerable Ānanda saw all these monks. Okay, I'm not going to read to you. Now you notice I have put this line. I don't. It's in your book. Is it italicized?
I thought it's Mahā Moggallāna.
Section 3. Can you see all the lines after Ānanda? All are in italics.
Yes.
Okay, that means whenever you see a long line of italics, that it means it's a repeat. It's an exact repetition of the previous somewhere earlier. Okay, so it makes it very easy to read. If you're a teacher, you know, okay, this is a verbatim repetition, right? So you won't bore your audience by repeating everything. You just say, well, all those monks have been mentioned earlier. So Ānanda, it kind of was elsewhere when he saw these great monks coming. Seeing the Venerable Revata, he approached him and said to him, those true individuals, notice Ānanda refers to the arahats, the true individuals, Sapurisa, okay? Avuso Revata are approaching the Venerable Sāriputta to listen to the Dharma. Come, Avuso Revata, let us approach the Venerable Sāriputta and listen to the Dharma too. So everybody is congregating. Yeah? Notice they address each other as Avuso. Okay? Avuso translates simply as the one with age, Ayu. Sometimes the year become Wa. Okay? Both year and Wa are called semi-vowels, the half vowels. So the aged one. So in Chinese you got what? Lao Ren, Lao Peng Yo. They like to use Lao in front. Something like a friendly kind of term. Respectful, friendly. Okay? So I don't know where the idea came from, probably from the Buddhist literature, because the Buddhist texts influenced a lot of Chinese language when Buddhism went to China. So Avuso is the kind of, they call each other in the same way. So this is one way you can know the age of the sutta. When they call each other Avuso, it means the Buddha was still alive. If you should the word Bante, the monks address the other monk as Bante, that means the Buddha has passed away. Okay? Of course, unless they are addressing the Buddha himself as Bante. Okay? Bante is like in Malay, is a tuan, something like that. Sir. Okay. Alright, so all these great monks are congregating to listen to Sāriputta. So they'll say, yeah, let's go, And the monks are kind of full of fellowship. And then we go to section 4. Now the Venerable Sāriputta saw the Venerable Revata. So now this time from perspective of the Venerable Sāriputta. He saw the Venerable Revata. And Revata is Sāriputta's brother, by the way. Okay, the youngest brother. I'm sure I'm right. I'm right here because there are a few people with the same name. Okay, I think I should be right because here's the Revata of the acacia forest. Okay, because he's the one who's going to be mentioned later. The Venerable Ānanda coming from afar and seeing the Venerable Ānanda, he said to him. So here Sāriputta is speaking to Ānanda first. He says, "Come now, Venerable Ānanda. Welcome to the Venerable Ānanda, the Blessed One's attendant, who is always in the Blessed One's presence." Okay, so you see a kind of cordial acceptance of one another. Okay, you can imagine, you got to picture this really friendly monks talking to each other. They are recognizing each other's special ability. In fact, from this kind of dialogue, you have a good idea of the tone of the whole sutta.
Yeah.
Yes.
Translation is it? You say Venerable Ānanda, but then the full one said Ayasma Ānanda. Is it the same?
Yeah, same. Ayasma means venerable.
Oh, so he addressed
Out of respect. Out of respect, yeah. Oh. When they address each other, they will say, even in modern language, when we talk, we will, even a professor will call a junior graduate the highest title available. Okay? So it's just a kind of respect when we talk. Okay? Of course, when they address each other, it's different. When they talk to each other, they say "Awuso." And then he says to him, okay, then 4.3, "Awuso Ānanda, delightful is the Gosinga forest grove." Alright, there you go. So Sāriputta opens the teaching by mentioning the scenery, very beautiful scenery. "Lovely is the moonlit night. The sal trees are all in full blossom. There seems to be a divine fragrance wafting about." Now 4.3 is a very important sentence, from a psychological viewpoint. You may say, okay, the monk will just stick comments about it at night. But it has got a very important psychological significance here. I mean, if you're a specialist in psychology, you are doing analysis of the early monks, these are the kind of clues you look for. This is called close reading when you study suttas. Close reading, or like deep reading. What does this sentence mean? Okay? So, Sāriputta is saying, look, what a beautiful night. We're talking about an arahat saying, what a beautiful night. So from this we can conclude that Sāriputta has feelings. He's able to appreciate beauty. Alright, but arahats are special. They only appreciate good things, not the bad things. Right? Of course they feel pain. I mean, if you pinch Sāriputta, of course he feels it, But he doesn't feel it the way we feel it. For example, once Sāriputta was in deep meditation. He had just shaven his head, and monks whose heads are shaven can be very shiny, in the moonlight especially. So there was this yaksha, as the story goes, flying in the air and sees Sāriputta's shiny head, and this is a very nasty yaksha. There are two of them, one bad, one good. So this nasty one says, "Look, there's a monk's head. I'm going to hit it." And the other actually, "You better don't. Do you know who that is?" I say, "Oh, I don't care." And he give a. We're talking about yaksha, this powerful being. He just hits this Sāriputta's head. Sāriputta is in deep meditation. Moggallāna sees this. And then after that, Moggallāna asks Sāriputta, "Did you notice what happened?" Sāriputta said, "No, what happened?" He said, "That is yaksha hit your head. You feel anything?" He said, "Oh, just a bit." Just a bit. And we're talking about this hard bang, He says, "Just a bit, And this is one case where he doesn't bother, He doesn't feel vengeful or angry. Of course, the yaksha suffered very bad karma. And there was another story, I think, in the Dhammapada commentary, where there was this Brahmin, this very, what shall I say, exuberant, kind of very loud, very rough and crude Brahmin. He said, oh, these monks they're supposed to be very calm and controlled, don't get angry, right? So let me test. So he actually goes behind Sāriputta and gives him a big slap on the back, a really violent hit, But Sāriputta did not as much as turn back. He just calmly stands there. Well, normally no one hits a monk in the back, so he just stands there. And then suddenly this Brahmin got a shock. I mean, if you do that to someone, he doesn't react. He's very calm and peaceful. You suddenly feel fear, Because you're so used to violence, you want to see him angry, you want to see him react. That's a normal thing. So you might say he had a cold sweat or something, right? So he was so shocked. And then he says, don't you feel anything? And then Sāriputta says, feel what? He said, well, I just slapped you on the back. He said, oh, you did that, huh? So well, I felt something. Aren't you angry? He said, why should I be angry? so you're not angry. So he got a shock. And he suddenly realized he has tried to harm a very innocent, a truly non-violent person. He felt very bad, The good thing about him is at once he corrected himself. And when I said, oh, please forgive me, I shouldn't have done that. And how do they best redress themselves? Please come for a meal tomorrow morning. Okay? But the point of the story here is Sāriputta is a really calm and peaceful person. So this is where, always remember, although the suttas place Sāriputta as the foremost of the monks with wisdom, this is one question I want to ask one of the classes one day. Who is the foremost of the monks in compassion? There is no such class, in the suttas. The answer is Sāriputta. Sāriputta also, wisdom and compassion, they go together. There are many stories about his great wisdom and his great compassion. His humility. You can also say the foremost of the monks in terms of humility is definitely Sāriputta. Yeah? Okay, so Sāriputta, look at this beautiful nine. Alright, so actually what's going on here? Sāriputta is not giving a long talk. He's actually giving a sort of discussion. So all these great monks are there. I mean, they're all awakened arahats, So Sāriputta doesn't need to give any talk to them. Instead, he's going to celebrate the night with them. So he says, look at this beautiful night. Then 4.4, he continues, Avuso Ānanda. Notice he calls Ānanda Avuso. Like just now, when addressing publicly, he says the venerable Ānanda. Avuso Ānanda, what kind of monk would illuminate or brighten or beautify this Gosiṅga Sal Grove? Now the translation should be Sal Grove, not Sal Forest Grove. No? So here Avuso, Sāriputta. So we have Ānanda replying now. It says, here Avuso Sāriputta, a monk is very learned, remembers what he hears, a store of learning. Alright, so this is what Ānanda is foremost. Right? So you might say, in a sense, this is already mentioned in the sutta. So what the chapter of ones in the Ekaka Nipata in the Anguttara Nikaya collects all this from various parts of the suttas and place them all together in the book of ones, okay? The Agga Puggala. Okay? So here Ānanda is foremost in terms of learning, Bahusacca. Okay, so Ānanda is great in learning because he's so close to the Buddha, and the Buddha would teach him whatever suttas he has taught before if Ānanda is not present. So he says, Ānanda says, this monk who is going to will brighten up this beautiful forest is a learned monk. And he continues, he says, whatever teaching that are beautiful in the beginning, beautiful in the middle, beautiful in the end, endowed both in the spirit and in the letter, that proclaims the holy life, utterly complete and pure. In such a Dharma, he is very learned, remembers it, masters it verbally, investigates it mentally, well penetrates it by seeing, or seeing it by right view. Right? So here you see those staggered lines that refer to what is the Dharma? Okay, the definition of the Dharma. He teaches. Next, Ānanda talks about what the monk does. The monk learns and the monk teaches. He teaches the four assemblies. Here, the four assemblies are the monks, nuns, laymen, and laywomen. That Dharma, well sounding in word and letter, well flowing for the sake of uprooting the latent tendencies. So here's another way we can answer the question, what is the purpose of the Dharma? To uproot the latent tendencies. The latent tendencies are our unconscious, those negative habits deep inside us, we're not even aware they are there. Lust, revulsion and ignorance, they are there, pulling our strings, controlling our lives. Such a monk, Avuso Sāriputta, would illuminate this Gosinga Sal Grove, okay? Or you can say Sal Forest Grove if you like. Then you'll see this grove as in the forest, not in the just outside town. When this was said, the Venerable Sāriputta said to the Venerable Revata, this time he turns to his own brother, the youngest of his brother. Indeed, Avuso Revata, the Venerable Ānanda has spoken according to his own ready wit. I notice ready wit here. In other words, according to the wisdom of the monk. Now we notice here, Sāriputta is speaking the royal personal pronoun we, here meaning representing the other monks. We asked the Venerable Revata about this. Okay, so again, Sāriputta repeats everything. Say, look, it's a beautiful night. So, who do you think will illuminate? Who will brighten? What kind of monk? What kind of practice do we celebrate tonight in this? What does it remind you of this beautiful place? Okay, now we have Revata's reply, 5.3. Okay, background to Revata. I'll read this first and then you can kind of imagine his background, right? Here, Avuso Sāriputta, a monk delights in solitude. Enjoy solitude, devoted to mental calm, never neglecting dhyana, accomplished in insight, and frequently and frequents empty places. Such a monk also would illuminate this Gosinga Sal Grove. Okay? So now you have a good idea what kind of monk Revata is. So he's a loner. In fact, his full name is Revata Kadirawaniya. Revata of the Revata who resides in the acacia forest. Okay? So he delights in solitude, he practices jhana, and of course, through jhana he gains wisdom. Okay? And then, so now I'll just summarize the story for you. Now Sāriputta speaks to Anuruddha. Okay, Anuruddha is another great monk. So it says, Anuruddha, what do you think? What kind of monk would celebrate or would brighten up the beauty of this place? Or is like the beauty of this place? And Anuruddha replies, 6.3. Here Avuso Sāriputta, a monk surveys 1,000 worlds with a divine eye, purified, surpassing that of the human. Just as a man with eyes, Avuso Sāriputta, who has gone up to the upper story of a mansion, would survey 1,000 wheel rims on the ground. Even so, Sāriputta, that monk surveys 1,000 worlds with the divine eye, purified, surpassing that of the human. Such a monk, so Sāriputta, would illuminate this Gosinga South Grove. Okay, here again we have a very valuable information on Buddhist cosmology. Alright, notice how Sāriputta words his feedback. He says, Anuruddha, how he describes his ability to see the worlds. He says, imagine you're on the top of a high building, and then you look down, you can see the streets, and there are many wheels. So already in the Buddha's time, at least among the Buddhists, amongst the meditators, they have a good idea. The universes, or rather the world system, if you like, are in the form of wheels. Right? So, but they never say it is. One interesting thing in the suttas, it is never said that the earth is the center of the universe, because the ancient word is Surya Chakrawala, solar system, that the sun is in the center of the universe. So this is very interesting. How is it that the Buddhists knew this, and the medieval priests in the church in the West still follow the Ptolemaic system? The earth is a geocentric universe. It's a very interesting difference here. Okay, so here again we see this, how Anuruddha describes his ability to know the different worlds, right? Because nowadays, you won't be surprised with this if you watch all those space movies, Star Trek and so on. For example, the spacecraft, they can know many light years away what kind of world it is and so on. So this is Anuruddha. And now we come next to number 7, Mahā Kassapa. So this time, so Sāriputta acts like a kind of chairman and he says, okay, your next Avuso Mahā Kassapa, right? So let's see what Kassapa says. What is his take on the beautiful night? 7.3. Mahā Kassapa says, here Avuso Sāriputta, a monk is himself a forest dweller. Lots of qualities here. I've underlined the key one for you. And praises forest dwelling. Notice there are two parts here. He practices certain practice, and he also talks good about it, encourages others. And then he himself is one who lives on alms food and praises living on alms food. He is himself one who resorts to the dust heap cloth and praises that practice. He is himself one who uses only the 3 robes and praises this practice. He himself is one of few wishes. Okay, let's just stop here for a while. Notice these 4 qualities: forest dweller, living on alms food, in other words, pindapata, and then uses only particular cloth, and only has 3 robes. These are 4 of the 13 ascetic practices. So Mahā Kassapa is renowned for his very ascetic practice. Even his robe is very rough. Okay. And mind you, he is one of the richest amongst these people before, when he was a layman. So now he lives this very simple life. And then after that, there are other qualities. Is himself one of few wishes, and praises the practice. And is one who is contented and praises the practice. He is one who lives in solitude, like Anuruddha, and praises the practice. And it is one who is above socializing, and he also praises non-socializing and not too friendly with others. Okay, this is where Mahā Kassapa is very close to Ānanda. They're kind of very close friends in the monk sense. And Ānanda, as you know, is like the monastic PR. So he's always making sure lay people are comfortable, they can hear the Buddha. And when the Buddha passed away, he knew the women were there weeping, And he's very concerned with the women, so he let the women see the Buddha's body first. And later the monks question him why. The reason is because he says the women have to go home first. Right? So if he sees them late, he's going to go back in the dark, which is not very good for them. So he's very thoughtful, he's a really good PR, he's very popular with the lay people, but he's also a socializer, so he's kind of on the criminal level. Right? So Mahā Kassapa sometimes would chide him and say, you should stop socializing with these people. You're like a young boy just kind of moving around with all these lay people. So Mahā Kassapa is a very austere, serious elder. Right? And so you see here, even the great arahants kind of do care for each other. Then next, he is himself one who exerts energy, so kind of pure mental energy, meditation, is himself accomplished in moral virtue and praises the practice, is himself accomplished in concentration and praises the practice, is himself accomplished in wisdom and praises the practice, is himself accomplished in freedom and praises it, and is himself accomplished in the knowledge and vision of freedom and praises it. Okay, this last 2, 4, 6 summarizes the Buddhist training. Alright, Sila, Samadhi, Panya, Vimutti, and then Jnana Dasana, Vimutti. In fact, all these things are put into one book which we published recently, right, called it's SD 1016, isn't it? Right? Just all that. Right? First, we practice moral virtue, the precepts. This helps us to practice meditation. Both of these brings out wisdom. This leads to freedom, meaning awakening. And then you look back, you know, okay, this is what they are. So notice here, Mahā Kassapa is talking about the whole gamut, the whole series of Buddhist practice. So he's very concerned about that. So he's that kind of serious, austere, traditionalist teacher. The keyword here actually is forest monk. Okay, so this is the kind of monk that monk who would illuminate, who would purify this forest. And then Sāriputta now turns to Mahā Moggallāna. And what does Moggallāna say? 8.3. Here, Avuso Sāriputta, there are two monks engaged in a talk about the Dharma. They question one another, they clarify to one another the question that has been asked, whether without hesitation, the Dharma talk smoothly flowing. Right? So here it's very interesting. Notice in the case of Mahā Moggallāna, we know him to be foremost in psychic powers, right? But here he only mentions this, his favorite, this dialogue. He loves dialogues, talking Dharma. Okay? So he says he doesn't. So his answer is special. He doesn't say one monk. He says two monks. He says two monks in Dharma dialogue. Okay, two people or two or more people, if you like, in Dharma discussion, and they know the Dharma so well. There's no hesitation. They know how to reply, and they are enjoying this Dharma talk. So this is Moggallāna's ideal monks, if you like. Right? Okay. Then come. Okay, now the circle turns back. Okay, you remember Sāriputta and Moggallāna are good friends. Now Moggallāna returns a compliment. Okay, so you see a very interesting twist here. Look at section 9. Then the Venerable Moggallāna said to the Venerable Sāriputta, "Indeed, also Sāriputta, we have all answered in accordance to our ready wit. Now we ask the Venerable Sāriputta, okay, so what do you think? What is your take on who's the monk, ideal monk who purified this forest tonight, who is comparable to the beauty of this forest tonight?" So from this up to this point, we have an idea how many monks are gathered together, right? Okay, we start off with the first monk is who's the first monk? Ānanda, right? And then Revata, Anuruddha, Mahā Kassapa, and then Mahā Moggallāna. Okay, and then of course Sāriputta himself now answers. All right, so Sāriputta replies 9.3. He says, "Here Avuso, it is a monk who masters his mind, not a monk who is ruled by his mind." Right? So here is in other words, he masters the thoughts, doesn't let the thought take over. So his answer is very simple: a master of the mind. All right. So although he's great in wisdom, he doesn't say very much. Here again, we see Sāriputta being humble. All right. He does add a few things here, though. After he says he masters the mind, not ruled by the mind, he says, in the morning or forenoon, in whatever dwelling or attainment he wishes, he dwells in that dwelling or attainment in the morning. And then in the middle of the day, same thing. Wherever he's happy, he stays there. In the evening, wherever he wishes, he stays there. Okay, Sāriputta is the only one giving a parable. He gives a parable. He says, suppose Avuso Moggallāna, a king or a king's minister, has a chest full of clothes, dyed in various colors. In the forenoon, whatever pair of cloth he wishes to wear, he would wear that very pair of cloth in the forenoon. Okay, this Indian clothing is a pair. So in other words, that's a full set. You have the dhoti and the upper, the shirt, if you like. Right? And so too, in the middle of the day, this king or minister, whatever pair of clothes he likes, he will take them and wear them. And then in the evening, also whatever he likes, he will wear. So in other words, he's a master of himself. So here, the monk has mastered his mind. Wherever he can choose, wherever he wants to stay, and at peace with himself, meditating, he does that. So in other words, here it evokes a sense of joyful freedom. Wherever he goes, wherever he is, he's happy. Right? So this is Sāriputta's reply. So now everyone has replied, everyone given his answer, all the monks have talked to each other, and then they say, well, there's one more person who has not given his view yet, that is the Buddha himself. So they say, okay, let's all go and see the Buddha now. So there's always this plenary session, okay? When they finish their gathering, they will all go and see the Buddha and report to him. Alright? So section 10. Then the Venerable Sāriputta said to all the venerables, Avusos, you have all answered in accordance with your ready wits. Come, Avusos, let us approach the Blessed One and present this matter before the Blessed One. Whatever the Blessed One clarifies to us, let us remember that. And all the monks said, Ama Bhante, yes, Ama Avuso, yes, Avuso. Right? So now you see the whole story that we have done repeated one more cycle. This is for the monks to listen. The oral tradition, everything is repeated. You see lots of italics. You notice, write down, everything is repeated because they are retelling the whole thing to the Buddha, right? So, and then down, right up to the end, section 17, the Buddha's reply. So here we have another interesting idea of the oral tradition. In most modern translators, can you imagine, they will just crush this whole section from number 11 to 16, all disappear. They just say, etc. So you begin to wonder, what is the etc., you know? So this is another feature of the Sutta discovery. We put in everything just as it is. And one of the problems I have sometimes is even the Burmese Chatta Sangiti Tipitaka, they also put Payalas, etc. You know? So the Pali is missing. So fortunately, the Sinhalese version, the BJT version, Buddha Jayanti Tipitaka, lays out everything in full. So from there you can do detective work. You can kind of see, okay, what are the missing words? And you put everything. This is a great thing about computers. They're a blessing for Buddhist studies. It saves a lot of time. It lengthens our life in that way. So we just cut and paste everything nicely. So from when you look through, you can see the flow of ideas. So this is another way we test the accuracy of the text. You have consistency, coherence, okay, and then we get this translation. Everything is complete. And let's say if this is a retreat and we have a lot of time, nothing to worry. It's like listening to music. You know, music, you got replays of certain sections, dark capo, you go back to the head and play again, you know. So they will sit peacefully and then listen to the sutta reading. We already know the sutta. We want to think about it. We want to feel it. We want to celebrate it. That's why you have this reputation, right? So, but today we're just doing a study, so I'm not going to repeat all those things for you. So it's an introduction, so that when the right time comes, you know what to do. Okay? So now the Buddha replies. It is in section 17 on the ideal practitioner from the Buddha's point of view. When this was spoken, the Venerable Sāriputta said to the Blessed One, "Now, Bhante, which of us have spoken well?" And the Buddha replies, "Sāriputta, you have all spoken well, each in your own way. But listen now to me too, on the kind of monk who would illuminate Gosinga Sal forest or Sal grove. Here, Sāriputta, a monk, after returning from his alms round and finishing his meal, sits cross-legged, keeping his body upright, establishes mindfulness before himself, thinking, for as long as I have not freed my mind from mental influxes through not clinging, I will not break this sitting posture." Okay, this is what the Buddha did, and this is not easy, you know. So the Buddha says, well, okay, the ideal monk, the greatest monk is the one who is able to sit and say, okay, now I'm going to do this meditation, and I'm not going to get out of it until I become an arahat. That's a tough one, isn't it? So in other words, this is the final practice, you know. You're reaching right towards the end of the whole spiritual journey, the culmination of it. And it's just a bit more, okay, like the final exam, if you like. And then it meditates, and comes out of it, becomes an arahat. The Buddha said that is the best of all of them. So the Buddha, in other words, give a gist of all that the other monks have said. Right? So this is what the great saints talk about and celebrate, you know, on a beautiful night of the full moon. Then the sutta closes and says, "The Blessed One said this: the venerable monks joyfully delighted in the Blessed One's words." Or another way to translate this as, the venerable monks joyfully approve of the Blessed One's word. And the sutta ends there. Okay, so this is more of a reflective sutta. There's not much doctrinal teaching. It's a reflection on the siṅga, if you like. There's also reflection on the Dharma. But so it's up to you how you approach the sutta. If you kind of reflect on the monks, happily talking about Dharma, and then you feel at peace with yourself, then you go on with your meditation. So there are different users for this sutta. All right.
Why did you want to change delighted to approve?
Oh, it's because the Pali word, attamana. Okay?
Because I would have thought the monks would not have gone around approving the Buddha.
No.
Usually, to me, it's like from a higher authority.
Yeah, that is quite interesting. As in literature, I suppose you say, like we say sadhu, so it's a sense of approval, appreciation, I suppose.
Sure.
Yeah, I suppose you can say appreciate, maybe is a better word. Yeah, that's interesting feedback. I must get more lawyers to be proofreaders, you know. you see,
That's when you're all not
I can spend my whole life correcting my translation. No, but I think it's good to be very clear about words. You know, sometimes translation is quite tricky because you try to present everything not only accurately but also beautifully. That's the other thing. It's not just technicality, it's also beauty. Okay. Any questions or feedback?
I thought when Moggallāna was describing his ideal monk, ideal practice, he was actually describing his relationship with Sāriputta.
Yep.
And such a close relationship.
Yes.
I'm sure he must have enjoyed so much dialogue.
Oh yes, there are a number of dialogues recorded in the suttas. And the way they talk, you can see how friends talk to each other. Very self-effacing, you know. So here we see each one presenting his idea of an ideal monk. So we don't see everybody say like a cult, you know. They're all kind of unique individuals, the great saints. All right? Any other questions?
Yeah, Buddha in his conclusion is talking to us, right? Because most of the monks except Ānanda already all the monks except Ānanda already
Yeah.
So the Buddha is talking to us.
Yeah, well, that's the whole point. You see, very often this, the question is, what can great awakened arahats do? They don't need to watch TV, they don't watch football, they don't have small talk. So you might say, wow, they have very dull lives. Not at all. No, they see a river and they talk about it. They say, wow, look at this river. There is frog there and it means this, there's a log there, it means that. So they see Dharma everywhere. So when they meet, they talk Dharma and they see it everywhere. You know? So you find them talking that way. So they do find something interesting to talk about, right? So they talk Dharma. And the idea is always there are people listening to them, all right? Because they know that these teachings will be given to their students, be handed down for posterity. And it's because they do this that we today are sitting here 2,500 years or 600 years later, able to study, able to know, able to feel what they themselves went through. So they are communicating with us when they talk in this way, in other words. It's for our benefit. They don't have to talk anymore. They can just sit in silence and just pass away. Now this is what Arahats are capable of doing. You know, if there's no one to feed them, they just meditate until their life ends. And this is what the Jain saints or the Jain devotees practice. They call it sadhakana. You know, they will announce a relative says, "I'm going to do this." We call it suicide, but to them it's they just starve. You know, they take neither food nor water, so they just lie down and then slowly they let the body shut down. Sometimes can last quite long, and then they pass away, and everybody is there, kind of happy, peaceful, and they take it as a great religious moment. There was a time when in India someone went to court and to ban this practice, you know. And then they brought it to higher court, and then they turn over this ban. So, of course, it's not something not everybody wants or dares to practice. This sadhakana, you know, this you can call it ritual suicide or holy suicide, whatever, because it's not something. I mean, it's kind of challenging. And the Buddha, of course, doesn't allow this because in Buddhism we respect life. So, on the other hand, there are some very tricky moments like arahats who passed away. There's at least two cases of monks who, whenever they attained a certain level, they fell back. You know? So, Channa is one of them. The other is Godika. They went to deep meditation, and then it's like they're telling themselves to repent. So then they come out of it, then they kill themselves, and then they are not reborn because that momentum is such that they just pass away as arahats. So the question now is, are they arahats or not when they pass away? So here I think technically, when they kill themselves, they're not yet arahat, and then they go on to be arahats. So it's a technicality. we're talking about how the conscious moment moves on until life ends. This is not something anyone can do. There are only two stories of this rather strange, rather extraordinary circumstance where these two people kill themselves, to attain arahathood. And the Buddha didn't blame them. They said, well, they have done it. They are arahats. That's the important point. But of course, the Buddha didn't say that other monks could do it that way. Okay, so these are exceptional cases. Right? And then there's another sutta called the Saleka Sutta, which I just finished translating last week. I think that's the Buddha's response to the Jain Salekana practice. So in Buddhism we use Saleka, self-effacement. Okay, it's a very interesting word, Saleka. So far, all the translators I know have simply used the word effacement. But I think they didn't translate Saleka. And then you translate together, you get Saleka. I think Sa can be translated as self. So I would say self-effacement is the best translation, in my opinion. Okay, any other feedback or questions?
Yeah, what's the meaning of 11.7? The teaching that are beautiful, teachings that are beautiful in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end.
Okay, so this is the usual description of the Buddha Dharma. Not Abhidharma, okay? Only the Dharma. Because here refers to the three trainings. Beautiful in the beginning is practicing moral virtue. It purifies us because our body and speech become serve us well, doesn't get us into trouble. So in this sense, it's beautiful. And then beautiful in the middle is mental training, samadhi, concentration. It purifies the mind with calm and clarity. And then it's beautiful in the ending is the insight wisdom that arises, which again beautifies our life because we know what true reality is. So these are the three trainings, okay? Alright? And then there are, this tree of course represents the Eightfold Path. And then you have the ninth stage, that is vimutti, freedom, and the 10th stage, 10th rightness, as they are called samatha. The 10th rightness is the knowledge and vision of this awakening. Alright? It's like, you're traveling on a journey in many stages, 3 stages if you like, and finally you enter the city. Alright? Let's say you're going to Kuala Lumpur, At which point do you enter the city? It's really hard to know, especially if you're going to the place, and this person doesn't know where the place is. And finally you say, okay, we have arrived. Alright? Actually, all the while you're already there. In Kuala Lumpur, it's a big place, but you say, we have arrived. You see, this is you start commenting, So you have the arrival, and then the knowledge that you have arrived. So that's the 9 and 10, okay? So the 3 trainings, you have the Eightfold Path, and then 9 is the freedom, and then 10 is the knowledge and vision of the freedom. Knowledge is a kind of mental awareness. Vision is you actually experience it, see it. All right. Any other question? Well, look how fast time flies. We're kind of more than halfway through this volume 44, and now we have finished Sutta 12. So the next study will be Chapter 13, Attaka Panya Sutta, 8.2, 8 ways conducive to the arising of wisdom. Any other questions or comments? Yes?
9.3, 9.3. Second sentence. In the morning, in whatever dwelling or attaining he wishes. Yeah, so this one is referring to dhyana, meditation.
I suppose so, yeah.
Because there's a footnote there.
Footnote, what number?
Footnote 104. It says here dwelling refers to forming. jhana. What attainment refers to formal jhana.
Okay, yeah. So it gets into any of those meditation. Yeah, very often the Buddha and the monks who used dwelling vihara, that's referring to jhana. For example, Brahma Vihara. So Vihara, that also means you practice the 4 divine levels up to the level of jhana. Okay, any other questions? Okay, clear enough? You can end it today, for today. This is always a very special moment in our study because we've come to complete our study, to joyfully taste our meal, if you like, and then finishing it. It is such a joy to be able to study a sutta completely from beginning, middle, and the end, and to reflect on the sutta, to increase our wisdom, to spread our joy, and to uplift the quality of our own life. Because as we progress through life, we begin to see things of the past become less in value. We begin to approach things of greater value, truer value. And it is this kind of study, this kind of teaching that help us determine what are the true things in our life that make us truly happy. So these are very precious moments in our life, and this is what we celebrate today. By this truth and by the power of the 3 jewels, may we be empowered with the joy and the courage and the wisdom to aspire to attain at least stream winning in this life itself. And by the same token, by the power of the 3 jewels, let us send loving kindness to ourselves for our own benefit, so that we can practice the Dharma and do our Dharma work. And to our loved ones, and family members, and relatives and friends, and people who have been kind to us, may they be well and happy too. And finally, by the power of the 3 jewels, let us send out our loving kindness to all those who are seeking the truth, who are still struggling to find out true reality and to be truly happy. May they discover this true happiness in this life itself. May all beings be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.